can you just tell us briefly what your role now is at IBM and some of the areas over which you have responsibility?
Okay. I work in the software group at IBM, and I focus only on cloud solutions and bringing them to market. In IBM, we do that in a few ways. One is just as a service offerings that you can go and buy at various places in our cloud marketplace. They cover a lot of different areas. Mark Dietz, who was going to be here before, works in the commerce area. We do things in smarter cities. And then this year, at the beginning of the year, we launched a developer platform that's called Bluemix.net. And so we're putting a lot of the middleware services to make them available for developers in Bluemix.net. I've worked in cloud for about 7 years now, and I came to the information and analytics team to focus on getting those solutions into Bluemix and bringing new solutions to market. Not just, as many of you have mentioned today, not just sticking the software into the cloud, but really thinking through how we put it up there, what people will use it for, how they want to access it, and really teaching the teams what it means to run cloud services.
Well, you know, one of the things we were talking about is data and the cloud, right? So the cloud has been around for at least a dozen years, right? And so people have had the opportunity to put their data in the cloud, and a lot of them haven't. And a lot of them are, depending upon the application category, a lot of firms are keeping their data on premises. Why have businesses been reluctant to trust their data to the cloud? Yeah, I mean, we've heard that it's more secure up there. Do they believe it?
So I, as I said, have been doing this about 7 years, and 7 years ago you couldn't talk to a financial institution who would even talk about moving any data into the cloud. I think over the last 12 years, 7 years that I've been doing this, we've seen that switch that has been mentioned several times today. One is that cloud vendors do a lot. We all hire professionals to come in and look at security. At IBM, we have a whole security division, and we use those resources liberally across our cloud services. The other thing is that there's just such a proliferation of data. There's data everywhere. And as the cloud services have evolved, you heard all these models, hybrid. Hybrid means many things. It can mean I want the vendor to run the service in my data center with my data center controls around it. It can mean running a dedicated instance in a public data center for that customer. There's just many, many permutations. One example I'll give you is a hybrid approach that I think is brilliant. We do business analytics. We have a customer in China called Shanghai Wind, and they actually give us publicly available data. We take it, we run thousands of analytics permutations on it, and we deliver it in a cube back to that customer, and then they take the data from us, and they parse it out to individual people who are investing for companies. They know what profile of investments they have, and so they divvy up all that analytics to do for them. So in that case, the data comes from the general cloud. It comes from all over the place in the market. We take it for a short amount of time. We do the analytics for them, and we send it back to them. So I think there's so many models that are emerging now in the way that you can have data in the cloud that it's making people a lot more comfortable than they were a few years ago. A few years ago, cloud, we didn't have the word cloud. We used the word SaaS, and it meant public, multi-tenant at all times. And now it's got a lot of permutations.
How do you handle different kinds of data? What is IBM doing about managing the different types of data, about identifying which kinds of data can generate value and how they can generate value? Do they work together? And what are some of the combinations?
So obviously, there are all the systems of record that you all have been talking about, all the transaction data. It's very important. We can't run our businesses without it. Systems of engagement are also important. One thing that we're beginning to talk about at IBM is something that we call systems of insight. So the last panel made this statement very clearly. You can't know what the person wants at the bar unless you know about the transactional data as well as where that person is. So we do need to combine that into really systems of insight. So the data in all its forms, whether structured or unstructured or whatever type it is, that's the what. The cloud is how we're doing it. And then the engagement is the why. Why are we doing all of this, and why do we need to put these data types together in conjunction with the systems of engagement? So we've been using systems of insight. I think it's definitely the way we need to go with all this proliferation of data that's out there. It just becomes overwhelming. And so what we're focused on are building tools that allow people to actually get to the insight part, not just manage the data. Certainly all the data management tools are there, the database types, the data security, all the different things that we can do to data. Those are all available in the cloud. And then what we really want to get to are those solutions. We launched something in September that we call Watson Analytics. It combines the cognitive power of Watson's natural language queries to be able to say, this is what I want from my data, and I'm just a business user. I couldn't put data into a database if I tried, but I can use Watson Analytics to say, I have this data, and this is what I want to know from it. Here's what I would like to learn. I think it's really hitting a gap in the marketplace. We've literally had tens of thousands of people sign up for the beta just since we launched it in September. And our whole goal is to really get to business users and to be able to give them that system of insight, whether it's putting the data in, we can tell them how good their data is, what kind of quality does that data have, and then we can help them analyze it and then visualize that data as well, so that they're, as a business user, really able to quickly get to that insight from the data.